Welcome everyone, StealthyShiroean here, and today I'm bringing you devlog number 3 of my game dev journey. I'm back again and ready to regale you, my future self, and anyone else along for the ride with tales of what I've been up to and what I've been learning and working on. To start, in my last devlog, I alluded to working with a small group of people on a project, and I wanted to talk about that a bit. They're a small indie studio called Studio HipSword, based primarily in New Zealand. Before I joined the team, they put together a couple game jam entries as well as a free commercial title called HipWitch that entails a short but sweet coming-of-age narrative adventure game about a young witch exploring a national park. In the description, I've linked HipWitch's Steam page as well as the studio's website if you're interested in learning more. They're a good group of people, and it's been good working with them and pitching ideas. My job is mainly to do some lightweight programming tasks for them, but I can't go into too much detail as to what we're working on. Or at least not yet, anyway. I've been with them for the last few months now, and it's been really informative and enjoyable seeing the game design process flow from all angles, not just the coding side, as well as interacting with the team rather than riding solo. I can't wait to be able to share more on what we're working on later, but in the meantime, I can talk about what it is I have been learning under their wing. For the last month or so, I've looked into a program called Articy, which is a narrative tool for game development. It allows for easy creation for dialogues and narrative design with a clever flowchart to track dialogue trees and potential branching choices. It goes even further than that with the ability to track things like individual variables with characters and other completely different systems, like an inventory. Articy has been used to make games you may have heard of, like Disco Elysium, gamedev, Suzerain, for all those long-time Humble Choice subscribers, and the aforementioned HipWitch. I went through 2 different tutorials, which were an Articy tutorial overviewing various aspects to the Articy program and how it could be used. Also, I followed along with an integration tutorial on how to hook up your Articy project with Unity. After that, I read through the Articy documentation for Unity to familiarize myself more with what the different functionality was. I'm unsure as to how much I might be working with this program or its usage in Unity, but it was a really cool tool to learn about. I'm definitely bookmarking it for later projects I might have for myself in the future. As far as my solo exploration goes, I've made progress with the RPG course I was doing through gamedev.tv. Making it through the next couple sections, I fleshed out a movement and basic AI system for potential enemies. However, more importantly, the course has begun talking about project structuring and how I need to take a think on how to develop a larger project. One thing to avoid is having systems that depend too much on one another, creating dependency loops, which will inevitably cause problems for a coder down the line when they want to implement a new feature. Besides thinking of a clever way to organize your code, one way to do this is through the use of namespaces. As far as I understand them, they group together a bunch of classes that can then only be accessed when you call the namespace in another class. This prevents accidentally calling classes willy-nilly, creating dependency problems, and is more strict in how classes can be accessed. I've touched on some other cool things like C# interfaces and gizmos in Unity, the first being really useful for implementing methods in classes that could be accessed in another class but could potentially have different code executed depending on where it's being called from. Gizmos are really cool because they can give visual representation to things in the code, which here was used to plan out a patrol path for an enemy. Oh, and if I haven't explained something very well, or if I'm completely off the mark, then please correct me down in the comments below. I try to talk about what I've learned in my own words to try and explain it to someone else. I'm sure I'll look back at this in the future and cringe, but I guess that's the whole point. From here, I definitely hope to take away more from this course and bring my newfound skills to bear in future challenges, whether from my own endeavors or various tasks for Studio HipSword. I'm still enjoying the journey despite the immense wall of skill and learning I still need to get over. One step at a time, and I'll get to where I want to one day. Let me know if you're following a similar journey or whatever it is you guys might be working on, game dev or otherwise. If this helped you in some small way, then please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, or whatever it is you feel like doing. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.